Well, how do, guys, and greetings on a very, very frosty morning, an absolutely crisp and gorgeously sunny morning. Decided to come out today on this particular waterway. Got the purest centre pin, 12-foot Shakespeare, 12-foot 6, that is to be precise, marsh-free float rod. I'm going to be doing a little bit of trotting with worms, bread punch, bread flake, maggots, etc. and just fishing the one swim for the day. Got a nice swim in mind. It's a bit of a S-bend section with a section of different currents, pacey and also slacks and back eddies, and some nice coverage from old sections of tree and bush. So I'm going to be giving that a go today. Do excuse in my last video the audio quality. I've now sorted the this particular camera out with a good quality microphone, so hopefully you guys are hearing me nice and crystal clear as such. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing today, just trotting a pin through a swim for the most of the day, fishing bread flake, bread punch, lobworms, dendrobenas, and of course maggots. Hopefully get a mixture of fish, but it was cold last night, I have to say. I know outside our house in the garden the thermostat went down to -6, so yeah, it got probably the coldest day that we've had so far this year, but sure sign that winter's knocking at the door and it's well on its way. But yeah, I'm just hopeful. Not the easiest conditions. Would prefer it if it was going to be like this, to be frosty and cloudy. So let's see how it goes. There's still quite a bit of leaf debris coming down the rivers. I don't think we've had really as much of a flush through as I would have liked, but certainly a lot better than my last trip where I had a lot of leaf debris in some of those swims that you saw me fishing for the chub on the link leisure. Anyway, what I do want to go into, feel free if you don't want to know about my own personal side of things, but what I do want to go into, if you want to skip this part of the video, you're more than welcome to, but I want to explain for those of you who are interested that I am really, you know, my last trip was a couple of weeks prior. Yeah, I've not been able to get out since being diagnosed with the blood pressure and the diabetes and hypoactive thyroid or underactive thyroid. It's really kind of knocked me for 6 in my confidence, and it's flicked a switch. I am at times an anxious guy, and it's really flicked a switch in me, and it's just made me terribly anxious. I've literally, last couple of times I've gone to come out, recently I packed the gear in the car in the early morning. As soon as I packed the gear in, went to get in the car, just started having a panic attack, shaking, heart racing fast, and it's literally as if having these conditions and especially the problem with the blood pressure, this is like it's brought back a higher level of anxiety, or flicked a light switch and made me worried about going out fishing on my own. Literally, I'm not even joking, guys. I literally just packed up, took the gear back out the car, ended up drinking my flask of tea in the kitchen. And to be fair, I'm going to be completely clear and honest. As I said before in my older videos, you know, I don't see any problem with being a guy who cries. I got very emotional as I was just sat there opening my tea up, and really quite sad about the state of things, because it's one of those few things that I have which is my freedom as such, and to have that taken away from you and robbed because of your emotional state, it's a real hard thing to deal with. Now, the reason for that is because after being told about the high blood pressure, I'm literally worried, obviously going out, depending on the conditions and where I'm fishing, I'm worried about fishing on my own. Literally, it's in my head now. I know it sounds a little bit eccentric maybe, in my head, that, oh Mark, you're going to be out fishing on your own, you have a heart attack or something, you've had it, you're gone, you're a goner. And that's got in my head so much that literally every time I've gone to go fishing the last couple of trips, even that last trip where I had that nice trip with the chub and barbel, I was fighting, so desperately fighting anxiety. I had a tight chest when I got down to the riverbank. I was sheeting down in sweat. You won't see it necessarily on the video because I obviously edit bits like that out, edit footage that doesn't fit in the video, but I was twitching, touching my chest, you know, subconsciously doing it, not even realise that I'm touching my chest, and just worrying constantly. And it's hard to deal with that kind of scenario when it's, you know, a pastime that you enjoy, and you guys yourself, you know, you guys enjoy it as well, and you know how hard it is if you can't enjoy something that, you know, is always a joy to do and be able to do. But trying my best to come out today, and I am fighting it again, and just trying to stay positive and stay focused. And as someone said to me recently, you know, just try and keep your mind off it and focus on the positive and try and enjoy your fishing. But it's not easy. As I say, I've always been an anxious person, and to be fair, you know, knowing about the high blood pressure has just made me really panicky and on edge. So it's not been easy to deal with, but I wanted to share that with you chaps, you know, and the viewers, just so you know where I am with my own personal side. You know, I did get a few comments recently, not on my videos, but messages to me where I did feel, I'm going to be honest, because I'm fairly honest with you guys, and I want to be honest with what I thought about the messages. I did receive some messages which were almost like they were suggesting, Mark, you're not out fishing because the weather's got cold. Now you guys know, brambles, I don't care. Stinging nettles, I don't care. Snow, frost, as long as I'm wrapped up well enough, I don't care. But when you've got these other things on your mind and your anxiety's playing up bad and you're having panic attacks, you know, you could say anything to the person who's suffering, like pull yourself together or think positive. Wish words could mend such scenarios and mend your thought patterns as easy as that, but sadly that isn't the case, is it? Anyway, as I say, staying as positive as I can today and gonna get out fishing. I just wanted to share that, you know, section about my own personal life and my own health. Now, going back to my health just briefly before I bore you all even longer, the good news is since October I started losing weight. I'm down now. Originally I was around 21 stone 3 pounds, and I'm down now. I've started to fast twice a week, which is helping obviously as well with the blood sugar levels. I have been prescribed metformin for the diabetes side, but the blood sugar levels are looking better with the fasting, so I'm not eating for around 18 to 20 hours twice a week, separate days, obviously not consecutive, and I've got my weight now down to 19 stone 10, so from 21 stone 3 to 19 stone 10, it's a good start, and I'm hoping that, you know, the more pounds I shed, the better the blood pressure will be, and hopefully I can get this thought out of my head of worrying that I'm going to keel over, be on my own and not fishing with someone. As you guys know, I don't really fish with too many people. I do, apart from the videos, you know, that I share on YouTube, I do keep myself to myself where when I'm on the bank, you know, I've got a very, very, very tiny group of friends as such. So I'm generally, when I do fish, I am on my Jack Jones. Anyway, as I say, positive inroads with the weight loss. Really happy to get down from 21.3 to 19.10. The fasting's helped. I'm eating very sensibly, and one thing that I found with the fasting, it's absolutely reset my appetite switch in my head, so I'll eat just a very small portion and I feel absolutely full up. I'm not looking at any sugary items or anything like that, so yeah, it's really, really good news on that front. Anyway, I don't want to bore you guys too much. My apologies if I have bored you going into my own personal side of things and my own personal life, but yeah, let's crack on. Let's do a spot of trotting and enjoy a very, very crisp and gorgeous morning on this particular waterway. Oh, there we go. Perfection in miniature. Not a massive fish, but what it lacks in size, it certainly warms the cockles of this angler's heart. It is a beautiful conditioned roach, and the first, hopefully, of many to come today. or at least that's the hope. Just taken on double maggot with a loose feed of liquidised bread laced with krill and a few casters. Oh, another small but perfectly conditioned redfin. Not massive, nice live bait size if honest, but just nice to be catching a few. Once again, that was just on the maggot with a light scattering of liquidised bread. But yeah, not a massive specimen, certainly not a specimen roach, but very, very welcome. Little cheeky little juvenile stripey there, with its gills flaring and its dorsal up rather proudly. But yeah, getting a few now, just fishing off the counterflow just near the feature to my left, which is a bit of a broken down tree with a few branches coming off of a main area of the tree, and it's just flowing clockwise and back on itself, bit of a back eddy. Well, decided to move swims to this nice straight run on the edge of a bend. First fish, another little roach, little redfin. Would be nice to pick up a half pounder or 3/4 of a pound, or who knows, a pound plus would be really nice. So, but yeah, lovely orange eyes, just on the maggot again. Well, all like peas in a pod at the moment. Another finely conditioned and finely crafted by Mother Nature little roach. And a fine example of why there's some very good pike in this particular river as well. And for every roach there's always a greedy chevin about. Perfectly conditioned, lovely gold enamelling there, and that's just taken on the double maggot. Might switch to bread flaking a little bit. I haven't got that much time left today, so we shall see. Well, there we go. It's probably probably going to be the best one of the day, I'd reckon. I've got about another 30 or 45 minutes or so to go, but yes, that's about the largest today. Once again, not massive, but better stamp. Just been enjoyable to, you know, face my demons in the sense of the anxiety and get out and get bankside and catch a few fish along the way whilst doing a bit of trotting. But yeah, it's in lovely condition. Once again, as you can see, just on the maggot, a little bit of liquidised bread fed in. Trust Mr. Greedy Guts to turn up in the swim, eh? Another small but stoutly proportioned chevin. Very nice. Wouldn't mind a roach this size though. There we go. Not a chub, but a dace. Nice condition. Tell the difference obviously between the two species based on the mouth and the dorsal being different to a chub. And also lighter coloured fins. Very nice. That light's fading, getting a few more bites, which is always pleasant. I'm going to have to be going shortly, so all good things have to come to an end. Mr. Perch, typical, just as the light is fading. I'm getting plenty of bites in this spot. But yeah, got a nice proud dorsal. Once again, a very virile and precocious youngster. Very beautiful. Look at that dorsal. How absolutely gorgeous. Oops. Come here. Come here, you bar of soap. Another little roach. It's just, you know me, I like to catch all year classes. I don't really mind at all. It's just thoroughly enjoyable, as I say, to be out on the bank. It's always a bonus. Just nice to be catching a few fish on the pin and doing a bit of trotting. It's a nice swim though. You've got a snag here, you've got a nice run off the middle channel, nice smooth area of flow. Then you've got that bush there, which I've been getting quite a few bites as the floats run down towards it. So obviously fish will be holding up under there, as you would expect. Nice bit of coverage. But yeah, most pleasurable. Another chub. They're coming quite close in at the moment. I don't know if that caught on camera. That was a barn owl just gone flying by, gone flying downstream. Wow, what a sight, what a sight. Oops. Oh, whoa. Juggling act there. One little chub. I think that'll be it. It's a problem, us anglers. It's always one last cast, and one last cast leads on to the next thing, which is always another last cast, and another, and before you know it, you've stayed half an hour longer than you expected. But I guess really as anglers, we kind of know that, don't we, when we're going to have a last cast. Famous last words. Well, all packed up. It's been an enjoyable trip. Nice to get out. Nice to try to fight and get over feeling anxious and panicky, which I can tell anyone who hasn't suffered from that kind of side of things. Psychologically, it really plays havoc with your mind. Not being able to do something that you really enjoy as easily as you should be able to. But yeah, nice to be out again. Nice to have caught all those fish, you know. The roach, there was no monsters there of course, but really nice to catch such pristine condition roach. A few chublets and chub in general, dace, and a few small stripies. Yeah, very nice. Now I should have probably moved into this swim sooner. I did have it earmarked and knew it would be a good holding zone, but wanted to fish those other runs further downstream. I think if I'd stayed here, the amount that I caught in that short space of time on this particular run, and this little, you know, bit where there's a little bit of an eddy in the margins and a bit of coverage from that bush, yeah, I could have probably bagged up quite a few fish. As I say, no massive specimens of any of those species, just an enjoyable days, you know, heart and soul type fishing, and good fun on the pin as ever, and always nice to come out and do a bit of trotting. Although, to be fair, if I'm putting myself in any kind of like skill set, I would say I'm not the greatest, you know, float angler. My forte lies in, you know, rolling a link ledger about and getting into certain swims and tucked into areas where you can roll the link ledger under and snaffle out a few large fish that are, you know, hiding back and acting wary. But that said, still enjoyed the day's fishing. Very nice to be out, be catching a few. I had a couple which I didn't film, which were on bread punch. Anyone that was wondering what float I was using today, that was a Yas Mackay. It's a bit like a stem float, not an alloy stem, it's a plastic stem float and balsa body. Float takes 6 BB shot, and just using that with a Camazon B982 in size 16, and just mainly fishing the odd occasion with bread punch, but mainly on the maggots, and just feeding in a little bit of liquidized bread mixed with casters, a little bit of krill, and not overfeeding, just sporadic feeding, and in between chopping, changing between that and just putting in a few loose fed maggots. But yeah, very enjoyable and a very wholesome trip, one that's very good for this angler's soul, I can tell you that. Very nice to be out and catch, and I do apologise, you know, if anyone's thinking, well, none of those were any big fish. They don't have to be enjoyable. I think most of you guys know that. Fishing's not just about catching, it's about peace, tranquility. Seeing that barn owl earlier, I don't know if the camera picked it up, but that barn owl was gorgeous. It's all those components that make it enjoyable. Yes, we like to catch some decent fish, and I would have been quite chuffed if I'd caught a, you know, a 1 pound roach today. I have lost on this particular stretch. I lost a big roach, as I said earlier, around about 3 to 4 seasons back, and that had to be an upper 1 pounder, if not a scraper too. So I know that they're about, but yeah, just nice to see healthy, a lot of year classes of all different species, and enjoy a day on the float in what has probably been today, or should I say last night, was our first real cold snap. There's a lot of people who've been messaging me saying, oh god, it's getting cold, it's getting cold. Come on guys, just layer up. I mean, you can see I'm not normally this sensible, I must admit, but yeah, I've got about 3 layers on. You know, if you layer up, you've got a flask of tea. I haven't got tea or coffee because obviously I'm cutting all caffeine out of my diet due to the blood pressure. So I've got hibiscus tea, which is supposedly good for the blood pressure, but it's supposed to take a while before it kicks in. You have to drink 3 or 4 cups a day for a good 3 weeks. So I am drinking that, and I'm not, you know, having any tea or coffee, but you know, a few layers on, as I say. Flask of tea, flask of coffee, flask of herbal tea, whatever floats your boat. Flask of soup, corned beef sandwiches. Not a bad option, not a bad option at all. But yeah, and just keep warm. There's no reason to worry about it being cold. I mean, it went down to -7 in Berkshire yesterday, or -6 yesterday night. But honestly, if you wrap up warm, if you are roving, you'll keep even warmer. If you're trotting, you know, you can always take a break and have a little walk up and down the bank out of your swim. As I say, you wear a few layers, wear your woolly hat, and you know, make sure you keep warm and have a flask of tea, and you won't go too wrong. There's no reason to worry about a little bit of cold temperature, as long as you're sensible anyway. Anyway, I'm risking the wrath of waffling again, and I do apologise. Anyway, if you have liked this video, as I say, I know there was no massive fish on it, but if you have enjoyed the video, do take time to consider giving it a thumbs up. That would be always most appreciated, chaps. Very nice to have your support of the channel. Very nice to have you guys popping by and dropping a comment. Always, it really does make my day when I get a few comments, and I can help if I can, and if I can't, you know, we can chew the cud over as such, and maybe put the put the world to rights, who knows. But yeah, it's just good to have you along with me via the videos on YouTube. So as I say, if you've liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, there's a subscribe button there and a bell icon there, and if you click both, you'll keep up to date with all my latest videos and a healthy back catalogue of course older ones. Anyway, it was a good trip. Nice to face the demons and beat that kind of anxiety that kicks in and just frightens a human being, which is, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Anyway, till my next video. Wherever you're having a dangle, I hope you're having a good time this autumn and this winter, and if you have any future fishing trips planned, I hope you have a good trip, or you have been having a good trips. Till next time, take care guys, goodbye.